Welcome to Like Nobody's Business, the podcast that goes beyond the bottom line and reaches deep into the heart of what really matters for women entrepreneurs, leaders, and founders today. I'm Emily, your host and founder of Women Up, a global movement community, an infinite upward spiral of visionary, resourced women entrepreneurs. I'm also a business strategist and leadership coach and a 6- and 7-figure business mentor for women entrepreneurs with over a decade of experience serving women across industries to build regenerative, intentional, and innovative business ecosystems that are transforming the world for good, without sacrificing profitability, our integrity with our values, or what matters most along the way. Here, we know that business isn't just about commerce or consumerism. It's about culture and policy. It's about challenging the systems that keep us all from rising, amplifying solutions that move us forward, and reclaiming what it is truly our business to care about as women today, at a time where many systems and structures are in dire need of recalibration for more equitable futures for all. Each week, I'll sit down with values-driven women leaders, activists, authors, researchers, and innovators who are on the front lines of shaping the conversations that matter most, issues of equity, upward mobility, and dismantling systems of oppression within ourselves, our work, and the world. Because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. And these challenges, they're not just someone else's problem. They're our business. And together, we're here to rise, resist, and reimagine the future. This is our space to facilitate and engage in the conversations women need to be having. It's time to woman up, get uncomfortable, be brave, and take bold action that blazes new trails, both in your business and beyond. So pull up a chair, get ready to be activated, and let's dive in together. We've got this. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you today for just a quick solo episode all about the mastery of masterminds, and specifically what I've learned, what most coaches miss, what most facilitators miss, whether they're coaches or not, and how and why I've been leading them since 2014 for women entrepreneurs across the globe, across industries, across different income levels and growth seasons in their businesses. So I want to take you into that. But first, I want to just tell you and remind you quickly about our mastermind that we have open right now called Momentum. It is a 6 to 12 month opportunity for you. And that means you get to choose your own adventure. If you decide to commit for the full year, you get the community by Women Up for free as an extra bonus, which is valued at the true value is over $80,000 over the course of a year in intangibles, but tangibly, you'd be typically paying around $2,000 for that. So that is a free gift for you when you join Momentum for the full year. And this is a great opportunity if you've worked with me before in some way, or if you're just seeking really strategic, targeted, focused, hands-on support and strategy, coaching, consulting, and then hands-on feedback on all the assets that you're creating so that you can create a really cohesive picture and strategy plan, and also learn the leadership skills, fill the skill gaps really on many different types of areas in your business to accelerate growth, and also to build an ecosystem of offers and marketing and leadership skills and all of the things that go into it, sales, all of it, that is capable of producing compounding results. And this is a very specific way that I teach about business and lead and coach about business, is this idea that we want to be building an ecosystem that allows us to create compounding results and compounding revenue over time, where we do create that infinite upward spiral effect that makes things easier over time. There will be new edges, new growth opportunities, new challenges, but what we want to do is master something, expand our capacity, and then expand our vision and go for it and go all in. And so that's what we help people do inside of Momentum. We have 2 calls a month. We've got to keep you laser focused on what in your business, meeting you where you are, what in your business actually needs support, what are we working toward? Checking in on the big picture, the short term, long term, all the different things, all the different areas, and really addressing what is coming up for you, what's most present, and where we can really do some big needle moving, focusing on what's going to drive exponential growth versus incremental growth. And that's where my clients right now inside Momentum are seeing huge results and seeing huge progress both in themselves and in their businesses. So if that is of interest to you, we'll link that in the show notes for you. And it's an application only process, but it's very quick and we can get you started ASAP. So if you're someone who is seeking that kind of support right now, again, if you join us for the full year, you get a bonus of the Community by Woman Up, which includes over $80,000 of resources, tools, support, relationships, live events. And inside of Momentum as well, you get in-person mastermind days that are really deep dives, targeted, focused, right before our Woman Up weekend in June, and then again in December. And those events really help us have more time together to collapse the time and space between where you are, where you're going, who you are, and who you're becoming. And really, we get the whiteboard out, we go crazy, we look at the whole picture, we zoom in, we zoom out, and we really set you up for a strong 6 months together during those days. So it's really great, and I'm loving it so much. We also have quarterly deep dive courses. One is coming up all about planning easeful and effective launches and mastering the art of launching in your business. So that's happening in the next couple of weeks, but it'll be recorded for you just like our past courses inside of Momentum. So wanted to give you that little teaser before we dig into today's lessons. So again, the mastery of masterminds, what most coaches miss, what I've learned leading them since 2014. So over the last 11 years in my business, I've had the privilege of leading transformational mastermind experiences for women entrepreneurs, visionary founders, high impact leaders, and rising voices in business who are here to shape the future and shake things up from the inside out. And since 2014, I've hosted multiple masterminds each year across industries, time zones, so many different things. Like I said, stages of business, levels of experience. Not because it's trendy, not because it's a highly scalable model, not because it's lucrative, but because it works, it's effective. It's what I've invested in time and time again every year of my business for the last 11 years consecutively and consistently. And it's what has kept me in the game long term. It's what creates that forcing function that gets us to show up even when things are really hard, or even when we're navigating a season or seasons of business that feel like, how am I supposed to handle this, right? And having those support systems in place, knowing that you're going to have access to support, whether it's to celebrate things, to hold you through the expansions and the contractions through all different seasons of evolution in the business, it's so critical. And if you speak with anyone who has the kind of success that you want, chances are they are investing in masterminds, maybe multiple at the same time. And that's because it works when it's done with integrity, mastery, and intentional leadership. When an experience is designed to create transformation effectively, that's where you really see incredible results. Because here's what most people don't realize. Running a truly impactful mastermind is a high-level leadership skill. And not every coach or facilitator is equipped to do it well. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of logistics, it takes a lot of sensitivity, it takes a lot of skill in multiple different capacities. And especially when it comes to your business and your leadership, it takes not only mastery of those sectors and understanding what kind of support is required and what best practices are and all of those things, but also it requires bridging all of that together, being an embodied leader as a facilitator and a coach, and actually translating that into real life results and transformations for your clients through the container of the mastermind specifically. Masterminds are different than group programs. They aren't just group programs in disguise. They are sacred containers of evolution. They are incubators for innovation, calibration, and elevation. And when led skillfully, they catalyze compound growth for every woman in the room. Inside my leadership mastermind, momentum mastermind experiences, and others that I've led in the past, I've refined a proprietary approach to facilitation that really blends regenerative business strategy, energetic intelligence, systems level thinking, feminine leadership principles, and deep community alchemy. So this isn't just plug and play coaching, it's a living, breathing ecosystem that really adapts to the collective in real time, because no two groups are ever the same and no two people are ever truly the same, which is why I love to blend a hybrid approach of supporting you synchronously, asynchronously, in person, virtually, group, and individual. So what makes a mastermind truly excellent? From the past decade of experience, here's what I know creates true lasting transformation within the context of a mastermind. The first thing is the cohort curation over enrollment at scale. So a mastermind is only as powerful as the women in it. So I don't just fill seats, I calibrate the collective. When I'm enrolling for a mastermind, I really think about, who is this the right fit for? Where are they going to really get the kind of support, the level of support that they're craving? And what's an appropriate message or result or promise that I'm making through this experience that I know I feel confident that I can deliver for these people? Because alignment, synergy, and shared standards are essential. If we're going to be moving in the same direction, there's value in an all-level space, and that's what the Community by Woman Up is all about, and finding those interconnections. But when it comes to a mastermind, I really want things to feel focused, lasered in, and really aligned with a strategic goal. And so that's really what happens inside of my spaces. The next thing is energetic leadership wins over ego leadership. Mastermind facilitators must hold steady, neutral, and high frequency energy. You're not there to be the star of the show, right? You're there to guide the weather system of the group. And a lot of times I see masterminds, other coaches becoming like, how can I create carbon copies of myself? Or how can you basically steal or copy and paste my everything, frameworks, methods, all these things, and make a cookie cutter business of your own? That's not what my spaces are about. They're about how can we support you through these practices and frameworks to really evolve into who you're here to be. For example, one of the core frameworks that I use, that I've created, is this idea of the infinite upward spiral and the infinite upward spiral evolution, the infinite upward spiral effect, how Woman Up moments play into that. And if you aren't yet clear on what that is, you can drop into our free space, Calibrate, to gain access to that 3-part training all about the infinite upward spiral. So you can understand better sort of the vibe and the intentionality and how we do things at Woman Up. That's a lot different than anywhere else that you might go for business support. So it's not about creating carbon copies of yourself or having all the answers. It's really about leading energetically, setting a frequency, and holding that steady, neutral, supportive space for transformation for your clients. Okay. Hey love, it's Emily. I'm interrupting this podcast episode really fast just to tell you something that's a secret I forgot I was keeping and didn't mean to keep from you, which is that we actually have a free space for you to dive into at Woman Up called Calibrate. I was asked recently if we have a monthly option or a trial to test out the community before joining us for a full year. We don't, and we've actually tried that before, and ultimately we made the choice to not offer it because it was actually a disservice and antithetical to our teachings, values, offerings, and integrity of our space, which is truly founded on transformational, deep, long-term relationship building and community participation and engagement, both of which require commitment. Because actually, all transformational change, evolution, and growth requires the precedent of commitment. That being said, I know that you want to make sure that your investment will be aligned and that the work that we do at Woman Up is the right fit for you and your business at this point in time. And if you haven't already felt that through listening to this podcast, Calibrate is the perfect way to kind of test it out. And we solved this problem just a few months ago, and admittedly have not been too vocal about what that pathway looks like for you. So I'm popping into the podcast today to let you know about it and let you know that we've built this entire free space for you inside Calibrate on our Circle platform, which is where all of our other programs and services are offered as well. So for those of you who are curious about becoming a member of the community or maybe applying to one of our mastermind experiences, Momentum if you're growing to 6 figures plus, or the Leadership Mastermind if you're scaling from multiple 6 figures to 7 figures and beyond, this free space will support you to plug into our frequency, our vibes, our ethos at Woman Up, to begin to calibrate up to your next Woman Up moment and initiate your infinite upward spiral of evolution and a new way of leading, growing, and scaling a regenerative business ecosystem with intention, innovation, and impact. Once you're inside, you'll receive free access to an amuse-bouche of resources to help you woman up, including our juicy training videos and masterclasses, including our 3-part Infinite Upward Spiral masterclass and our Visionary masterclass, our business ecosystem template that you can plug into any project management tool that you're already using, like Asana, Trello, Monday, Notion, whatever you like to use, and a training video from me walking you through exactly how to use it to get organized in the back end of your business. We also have some incredible replays of our 3-day Big Visionary Energy virtual conference for female founders that we hosted in October, which is a real incredible activation and virtual conference that is self-paced and you can go through in your own time, in your own way. You'll also get access to our events calendar for non-members. We have a separate event calendar inside the community for our paid members. But think live trainings and virtual happy hours. Some events will be free, others will be paid. All of them happen virtually and live inside of our platform for so much ease. And you'll have the ability to submit your questions for me to answer on an upcoming solo episode of our podcast. So what do you do if you love the way that all sounds? Jump to the show notes and click that link to join Calibrate and get yourself plugged into our ecosystem. It's time to have your next Woman Up moment. I'm so excited to see you in there and to serve you and support you in this way. There is a plethora of resources in there. And once you're ready, once you already know that this is the space for you, we invite you to jump up into the community for just $197 a month or $19.70 for the full year and get access to our quarterly in-person events called Women Up Weekends. They're 2 days each. This year, we're going to be taking them all across the US, which is really exciting. So come join us. We'd love to have you. And if you have any questions, of course, you can always send me a direct message on Instagram at Emily in Your Business or at Woman Up, spelled WMNUP. Back to the episode. Okay, the next piece here that I want to dig into with you is strategic depth and spaciousness. So the best masterminds offer both structure and spaciousness. Women, I find, especially women entrepreneurs who have full plates and who are busy and who are maybe leaning on the side of audacious, perfectionistic, bold, women who get shit done, don't necessarily need more rigid frameworks to lay on top of and reinforce the ones that aren't serving them currently. What we do need is intelligent facilitation that creates clarity and builds momentum while leaving room for intuition, emergence of new ideas, innovation, creativity, the real deep foundational questions that actually move the needle for you in your business and in your leadership as you continue to evolve, face new challenges, and rise to the plate. The other piece here that's really critical is having an integrated ecosystem design. And this is something that's signature to our approach at Woman Up. So inside Woman Up, our masterminds and coaching spaces are woven into the larger business and leadership journey of every woman who joins. So we don't isolate the experience, we amplify it by grounding it in your business ecosystem, your nervous system, and your leadership capacity so that you can continue to evolve and grow within the container, and the container expands to continue to evolve with you because it isn't a prescribed cookie cutter methodology and framework. It's really about regenerative business building and emergent strategy and meeting your leadership edges as you continue to rise and evolve and meet new versions of yourself, new expressions of your company, new challenges leading a team or building a team, hiring, firing, all of those things that come along with growth. And not just team stuff, but also profitability, managing your resources, amping up your cash flow during different seasons, understanding what you don't yet know, which you only can find out when you are growing and when you have a growth mindset and when you are continuing to lean in to the discomfort, the uncertainty, the mystery that happens. I said recently on Instagram that the more I do this work and the more that I'm immersed with leading and supporting women entrepreneurs and their companies and their businesses and their leadership development and how that integrates into the ecosystem of their life so that it can feel truly enlivening and not stifling or rigid, the more I realize that leadership is sorcery and business is magic. And the reality is that you need both in order to be able to sustain anything. In order for your business to feel truly regenerative, you not only have to nail the business strategy and structure and skills and all those things, but also you need to develop your skills as a leader, which where do you even go to do that other than just trial and error a lot of the time? And sometimes you have these like leadership trainings that just feel really out of touch or kind of irrelevant or not custom fit to your business or the challenge that you're going through or navigating currently. That is a huge part of it as well. Let's chat about common pitfalls that can sabotage masterminds, because what doesn't work is really important. And what I've seen derail even the most well-intentioned containers, coaches, leaders, clients, all of it is, this is hard-won stuff. So I hope this is valuable for you to hear. One is over-promising and under-curating. When we make big promises with little depth or follow-through, the recipe is burnout and disappointment. The magic is in who you gather, not how flashy the launch is, not how big the numbers are. There are so many different things that weigh into actually being able to curate and meet the big promise of the experience. And so you want to focus on what truly matters, the connection, the vetting of the right people, getting the right people in the door, and not making any compromises when it comes to the standards for who is part of the experience. Because one bad egg can really ruin a whole space and a whole experience really easily if left unchecked or if allowed in. Next thing that sabotages, lack of boundaries and energetic leaks. A mastermind facilitator must have an incredibly strong internal container to hold others. Without boundaries and clarity, the experience within the mastermind becomes emotionally taxing for everyone involved. And as a leader of masterminds, you really need to be doing your internal work and working on your facilitation, leadership, steadiness, skills, all of these things so that you can hold not just yourself and your team and your business behind the scenes, but also the clients and the space that you're facilitating. That is big, deep work. And most people, I'll say, do not know how to do that. It's a very special skill set. It's very specialized. And it's something that looks easy when someone is doing it well, but it is absolutely very challenging, very difficult, and very much requires a mastery of so much in order to be able to pull that off and facilitate well, to be with and be ready for all the things that will come up and do come up when you are, especially if the mastermind is all women, facilitating all women who have different personalities, who have different backgrounds, who have different goals, visions for their life, for their work. They're dealing in different industries. They have different business models, different ecosystems, different skill sets, strengths, personalities, dynamics, backgrounds, sisterhood wounds, mother wounds, all this stuff that plays out in these containers. And so you need to make sure that the people who are coming in are willing to do that work, but you also need to be informed and prepared if you're going to lead a space like that this is, again, it's not just a group coaching program. It's not just regular old group program, group community building. It's so much more and so much bigger and so much deeper. And it's really about how do we facilitate transformation again and again and again and again, and help people really rise and expand into and calibrate to new levels of that expansion, perhaps many times throughout the container itself. Okay. Other thing that can be challenging in a mastermind and can sabotage the experience is a one-size-fits-all strategy. Because what works for one woman's business may completely sabotage another's. And great facilitators, coaches, consultants know how to meet individuals where they are without diluting the collective container. So knowing that each person, yes, it's a group experience, just I've heard this said in a group workout, right? Group workout, individual, or group class, individual workout. Same goes with a mastermind. Group experience, individual transformation, right? And that is so important that we really are able to find ways to facilitate that meet people where they are and individualize an experience to fit what they need. Not that you need to try to please everyone, because that's impossible, but really thoughtfully curating an experience that does meet needs and solve challenges that are real and meet desires as well. Okay, centering yourself instead of the collective. A mastermind is not a stage for the facilitator's personal brand. If you're the only voice being amplified, then you're not facilitating, you are performing. So valuing each person's individual contribution and really centering clients in the experience is going to make the experience deeper, richer, and more fulfilling and valuable for every single person in the room. Neglecting repair and regulation when conflict, contraction, or misalignment arise, because they will, that is part of it. That is part of group dynamics, that is part of teams, that is part of masterminds, that is part of humaning and relating, and it is part of being a human who is growth-oriented, but also has fears and has a lot of stuff. Wherever you go, there you are. We all have our own things that we bring to the table. We don't suddenly become a perfect, flawless human being when we invest in a mastermind or coaching, right? It's hi, we're here to transform. And that is a messy, murky, uncomfortable, uncertain, mysterious, beautiful, hard, challenging, sticky process. And so we all need to be aware of this will happen. You will get triggered. Something will happen. And when we can alchemize all of that for our own growth and the collective growth and transformation and evolution, that's where the magic starts to happen. So poor facilitators tend to bypass or avoid conflict, contraction, or misalignment. Masterful leaders lean in, repair rupture, and regulate the container back into cohesion when storming occurs. I was just sharing with a friend on the phone that in my leading people, teams, and organizations course for my MBA, right now we are learning about team culture and dynamics and so much. And one of the things that stuck with me is the idea that teams go through these 3 stages of a process. They form, then they storm, then they norm. And I see that happening in all different kinds of teams and communities and spaces that I lead. And it's true in masterminds as well. And we can't always tell exactly what the timing is going to be like for those stages. Sometimes we move through them really quickly. Sometimes they take a while. But knowing that is standard and that's what we can expect means that we can reverse engineer processes and systems and things that allow for there to be structures in place with clear agreements and what to do when and if discomfort, trigger, these different things arise. So what's the result of masterful facilitation of masterminds? Women rise, in this case, because it's business specific, revenue expands, ideas accelerate, power recalibrates, and perhaps most importantly, women remember who they are. I see this all the time and it's so powerful. Beyond titles, to-do lists, metrics, Women reclaim their voices. We redefine success for ourselves individually and collectively. And we return to the world and to our work with more clarity, capacity, and conviction than ever before. So if you're a coach, a consultant, a strategist leading masterminds, or thinking about launching one, this is your call to rise to the level of the experience you want to deliver and actually put yourself in the room. Allow yourself to receive what you want to give and be of service in, because you really do need to be in the seat of student and client and mentee first before you take on the role of teacher, facilitator, mentor. That's always going to add depth and nuance to your work itself and is a great investment as well. Your clients deserve more than group coaching rebranded as leadership or a mastermind. They deserve a transformational container held with intention, integrity, and mastery. And if you are a visionary woman entrepreneur ready to be inside a container like this, you already know Woman Up is where your next level begins. And currently, doors and applications are open to join us inside the Momentum Mastermind experience. As I shared with you in the beginning of this episode, it's a 6 to 12 month experience. So you get to choose either 6 or 12 months. If you choose 12 months, you will not regret it. You will have the best experience possible. You will get 2 in-person mastermind days. You'll get everything that's included in the community by Woman Up for free as a bonus. And we'll get to really dive deep together and cover a lot of ground. 12 months flies by if you haven't noticed in your own life and business. I can't believe how quickly 12 months goes by. So my vote would always be for the 12-month process, because I find that after 6 months, we're just starting to really deepen into the juice. You may have created amazing results, but we're really getting to a new level and unlocking a new layer of your leadership and your business and your strategy. And we've just probably learned so much. We have so much new information and intel to work with. And there's just so much left to do. I would recommend 12 months, but it's totally up to you. And you have options. And you can head to the link in the show notes or womanup.co/momentum to get all the details, learn more, and submit that application today. I can't wait to read through, to chat with you more about the experience and how it can be applied to your unique desires, vision, and to connect with you more deeply about this experience and to share it with you and hopefully see you inside. So thank you for being here today. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you next week.
Keep your mind wide open, keep your soul aligned. You've got all the answers waiting there inside. You're not alone. Take a throne like nobody's business, like nobody's business.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Like Nobody's Business. So, what did you think? I hope you found this episode absolutely enlivening. If you loved it, I'd be so grateful if you'd help me spread the word by sharing this episode with a friend or a loved one you know would feel supported and encouraged by this too. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you won't miss an episode. It's also infinitely helpful to me and to my team if you take a moment to rate and review the podcast so that other trailblazers like you can find this resource, know it exists, and step out of struggle and into more ease. Thanks so much for sharing your time with me today and for taking this space to receive nourishment for your greatest vision. And in case no one told you this today, you are wildly brilliant, beautifully wise, and radically trustworthy. Keep shining your light so that all of those who need what you're here to share with our world can see, feel, and experience your unique medicine. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Nobody's business, like nobody's business.